Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Go Rogue podcast. My name is Brian Fitton. This is the podcast dedicated to doing marketing differently, serving first, giving value, and building your brand. Today, we have some special guests, but first, Lauren Lewis, my co-host. How's it going, Lauren?
It's going good.
Yeah, and we are here in Startup Junkie World Headquarters. Global headquarters. Yes, very excited.
Universal. Secret bunker.
Yeah,
it's a secure location.
Exactly. So we actually just filmed a podcast episode with them. So we have Jeff Amrine and Caleb Talley. Is that your I apologize. I should have gotten your last name. I see in the emails all the time. But thank you guys for being on today.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for having us on your podcast. This is just a podcasting kind of day. So
it's full on bromance.
It is. Absolutely.
with friends.
With friends, yeah, with friends. I'm super excited because we're going to dive into basically what Startup Junkie does. They have been a huge impact on our business, and so just love what they do and the community that they're building, the events. So if your marketing director is wanting to do more with the events and promoting that, and then also kind of digging into your community, making sure they feel supported, that's why we're here today. So I'm very excited about that. But before we get into that, Lauren, we like to start off with something fun. What is that?
We always start our episodes off with, what are you obsessed with this week? So starting with our guests, what are you guys obsessed with this week?
I would have to say this particular week, we're obsessed with maintaining social distance and figuring out how to take everything we do, which is very engaging, and a lot of it is face-to-face, and make it digitally available to our clients. Because we still have to, our job, even in the state of national emergency we're in, is to help innovators and entrepreneurs be empowered and successful in what they do. And it's a challenge to figure out how to do that completely digitally.
Absolutely.
I'm obsessed with the regret of not having bought that giant novelty roll of toilet paper that Charmin advertised during Christmas.
Yeah.
So you just think if you would have had that, how much that would be worth today.
Oh, yeah.
And also what Jeff said.
And also on that side.
I've heard they're selling out of sandpaper too. So there's really some hardcore people in the FCC.
I saw the duct tape one as well. So that's, get a wax in. No, I'm sorry. Is that too much? Sorry, Lauren.
It's too much.
Sorry. Lauren, what are you obsessed with?
So mine's really random, but actually it's chicken teriyaki. Okay, I know it's random, but my dad has an old Cook's Illustrated recipe, and every time I make it, I'm like, this beats all other chicken teriyaki. And I made it last night, and I told my husband, I said, this is so dang good.
The best chicken teriyaki.
I mean, it's really
world.
good. And you see all these cheap bottles at Walmart of marinade sauce that you could use, but it does not compare.
Yeah.
But there's some secret ingredient.
I mean,
it's MSG.
A little bit of gunpowder in there or something really cool.
I mean, it's real simple, but I just thought, cool. Man, it's I think it's just homemade, and it's just good, and it's real comfort food. But
I skipped lunch. Cool. Thank you for that.
I'm sorry. I did too.
That makes me kind of hungry.
So I'm obsessed with, I think it's been kind of a crazy roller coaster, but I'm always trying to find a new show. And so for some reason, while I've been traveling, The Outsider with Jason Bateman, it is super creepy.
Good, yeah.
But it
I'm
is
scared to try it.
Oh yeah, I tried to get my wife to actually watch it with, and she was like, "Yeah, no." She's like, "That's not happening." So it's good so far. I'm not going to say anything else about it, but it's pretty good.
And speaking of Jason Bateman, the new season of Ozark is coming out.
Is it nice?
March 27th?
Awesome. Nice. Somebody else said that they were like,
nobody at this table gets paid for endorsing them, but Ozark is great.
We love Jason Bateman.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. But it's
Jason Bateman fan club
podcast. We should start that. Yes. Somebody's saying they're canceling basketball, canceling everything. It's at least let Ozark come out sooner.
Exactly.
Right?
No,
exactly. They're not canceling Netflix, thankfully.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. All right. So, hey, let's jump into basically our topic today. So I'm very excited to do this. But Jeff, I'm going to kind of hand it over to you. So tell us a little bit about Startup Junkie, what you guys do, who you support.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of an accidental business that got away. I mean, that's the way I like to describe it. Sometimes the business model is described as an unsustainable business model we've sustained for 12 years. But what we are is we're an entrepreneurial support organization. And what that really means is we're a management consultancy, kind of like KPMG or McKinsey, plus an event management company. And the difference is all of our services to our early stage clients, from pre-revenue to about 25 million in sales, are completely free because we're third party funded by federal government, state government, foundations, and others. So a client can come in here and get kind of a triage on where they are in their business. And then we've got a whole set of tools, and we've got a pretty good network of people we can connect them to. And in normal circumstances, when we're not in our undisclosed bunker location, we have lots and lots of events and workshops and different things that help build community around startups. But this is something where we've grown from, it was kind of an ad hoc side hustle when I started in 2008, where we now have 20 people in 2 locations. We operate 2 brands, the Startup Junkie brand, actually 3 now, the Conductor brand and the Innovation Junkie brand.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, and I mentioned it before. I mean, I've taken advantage of your guys' services. I mean, anytime I've needed advice or anything, or even references or referrals, I guess, to other, accounting or anything, you guys have been just phenomenal with sitting down with me, listening to my problems, saying, hey, this is who you need to contact. And it's almost like talk about building a community and a referral base. I mean, you guys don't necessarily, you've been very open with like, hey, we may not have the answers, but we know somebody who does, and that's huge. That's huge.
Well, and when you see over 1,000 clients in those one-on-one meetings, you can't know everything about what they do, but over a course of a long period of years and with a pretty seasoned team, you build a good network of people that can be pretty helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. So Caleb, from your position, so you handle a lot of the marketing and promotion of the events, right? So talk to us a little bit about when you guys are looking at those events, what is it that you're kind of zeroing in on, like, hey, this will be beneficial to our community? What are kind of some of those things?
A lot of it's driven by people coming to us and saying, I'm interested in this. I think we'd find value in this sort of event. If you have enough people coming and asking for a marketing workshop, it's probably time to host a marketing workshop. And then we also have a lot of people that, because we have built up such a good reputation, people that are experts in certain industries come to us and say, hey, I want to give back. Y'all have helped me. I'm pretty knowledgeable on this category. I'd love to come in and give back to some of this community that's given to me. And so it's a really cool opportunity to allow people to give back and do a presentation, workshop, those sort of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that was like a pointed thing that you're saying at me. You're like looking at me like, you've taken advantage of this.
A workshop for us yet. And
I wonder why we have anybody come in and talk about the power of video. Marketing. I wonder who could do that.
That's called your conscience.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just hear Caleb in the back of my head constantly saying
that. Was a toss. That was a toss there.
That was good. No, and that's something, I mean, we've talked about as well. It's almost like we got buried in client work and we're now kind of getting our head above water. We're like, okay, yeah, we need to figure out some processes and different things like that. And we'd love to, obviously. I mean, this community, we talk about it with even the 1 million cups. I mean, I think that's where I see you most. But absolutely. Just being able to just sit and hear, just story after story of entrepreneurs who are in the space and people with different ideas, and really be able to support them and their ideas and going forward. I mean, it's pretty cool. So, yeah. Lauren has not been to a 1 million cups yet, so let's turn the attention to her.
Well, you have to wait
say,
now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Most every Wednesday morning, when we're not in the middle of a global apocalypse, at the Exchange in Bentonville from 8 to 9 a.m. and it's awesome. It's Kauffman Foundation supported event.
Now I get to sleep in a few Wednesdays.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's an upside to some of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, how do you guys go about, besides like someone coming to you and saying, we need this, how do you choose what to educate on, what to choose, what to promote?
A lot of that is driven by the need.
Right.
We have people that, like I said, that do come and say, hey, we would like to lead a workshop on this. But we also have a lot of people that are saying, hey, we haven't been to a workshop on this, or we haven't really seen this yet. So that drives a lot of it too, trying to meet a need and add value.
And it can be a variety of topics. So as you think about the things that typically cause businesses to fail, it can be, how do you know if you're solving a problem that anybody cares about? So we'll take somebody through a lean canvas and a customer discovery kind of a workshop. It can be a matter of, how do you raise finance and what are your choices and how does it work, and the entrepreneur's perspective or an investor's perspective. It can be how to pitch, and then things like idea fame and pitch contests and how to put together a good story and storytelling. It can kind of be across the spectrum of things you might imagine.
And just to compound on that, we had an idea fame, which is a 60-second pitch competition a few weeks ago, and a lot of the people that had signed up to pitch, they came back to me and they said, I want feedback, because that event doesn't really provide the opportunity for feedback. or coaching. And so they said, we love this. We love the opportunity to pitch, but we also want some feedback. We love some coaching. So went back to the drawing board, and we have a pitch coaching event next month, hopefully, to where we'll have a communications professor come in who has experience in coaching people through pitches, and not just here's a dry erase board, this is what your pitch should look like, but actually walking you through it and coaching you and giving you feedback as you're pitching. So a lot of it's driven by need.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, and I've been able to be on the judging panel. I think it was for Startup Weekend at one point. And so I know that is a difference between the two, because we are able to give that feedback immediately. But I have been to some of the 90-second pitches and different things like that, where it's like you basically get up, you do it, and then you go sit down, and you're like, did I do okay? Did I not?
Yeah, the Idea Fame thing, which started out as Gone in 60 Seconds or G60, and we rebranded it to Idea Fame.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was really, there was one, we wanted it to be fun, and it was an experiment that's kind of stuck with us now almost the whole time we've been in business. But it's a little bit Shark Tank, and it's a little bit American Idol. Yeah. And it's fast paced. Yeah. So it's no slides, no notes. You get up there, and the MC will either abuse you or applaud you. And if you don't show up, there are lots of hateful things will be said about you if you don't actually make it. But the whole idea for that was to have the contest as an excuse to draw a bunch of people together that didn't know there would be people in that crowd that they needed to know. Yeah. And so it's community building. We've had 300 people show up, 35 or 40 contestants.
Every time we have one, there will always be that same cast of characters that are going to come to most of them, and people that are in this community that we see at a lot of events. But we also, I feel like at every one of these, we have a handful of people that come to pitch that we've never seen before.
That's right.
Wow.
And then we end up turning them into a client, because they come back, maybe they won and they came back, and can build a relationship with them, and
it's energizing,
getting them in the door.
It's energizing and
absolutely.
Fun.
Well, and that's why we always talk about it with marketing efforts. It's like sometimes contests can be the best way to get somebody introduced to you, like sharing out that content, and being involved in that contest, because there is $1,000 if they win. Basically, fund
two $1,000 prize.
You dangle a big Happy Gilmore check in front of some people, they'll show up.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's funny what motivates people, and money's one of those things.
Yeah. Well, and even just with the 1 Million Cups events that you guys do, I mean, that there's nothing involved in that other than just you get to be in front of a room of people and just talk about your business. I mean, that's huge in and of itself, and that can be a motivator as well.
And particularly when once somebody goes one time and they see that people are not there judging you, but they're trying to figure out how to be helpful, particularly in NWA, there's something in the DNA here where a lot of people really want to help you and figure out how to help you succeed, and they're not looking for any kind of reciprocity. Yeah, they just love to see people do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny you say that, because at 1 Million Cups last week or the week before last, had a gentleman who just moved to Northwest Arkansas from Ohio. And he pulled me aside, and it was after an MC'd or whatever, and said, I'm new to this community, and I just wanted to say, holy cow. He said, everybody's so supportive and so nice. He said, I've had to tell people to stop calling me sir, because he said, I feel uncomfortable being called sir. He said, this community is so supportive, and I've met just at 2 or 3 1 Million Cups enough people that are willing to help me and want to see me succeed. So I think it is.
It's unique. Different. It may be, and you use lean canvas jargon speak, it may be the unfair competitive advantage we have in this region, I would say.
But even that, I think that you guys have done a good job of fostering that, though. I mean, you really have, of being able to say, hey, we're not all in competition with each other. We are just trying to elevate, I mean, this whole community in Northwest Arkansas in general is like kind of the hidden gem out of the Midwest and the flyover states, right? And so I think that you guys have done a great job of like making that the culture. So when people do come into it, they see that and they're like, okay, I'm not going to be the a-hole that, is calling people out or anything, because I will not be okay in this.
And I got a baseball bat in my trunk.
There you go. That's awesome. So, hey, let's talk about a little bit, you talk about Conductor and then also Innovation Junkie. Yeah. So Innovation Junkie just came out.
Brand new.
Yeah. So what is that really?
How's it different? How's it different? Yeah. So Startup Junkie Consulting, nonprofit, for-profit, and Conductor are all focused on exactly the same purpose of serving those innovators and entrepreneurs that are from pre-revenue to 25 million in sales with everything free. But what we found was over the course of the last few years, larger corporations, larger nonprofits were coming to us and saying, we really need to be more innovative. we really would like to think like a startup. We would really like to use the lean canvas. We'd really like to understand modern customer discovery. We'd really like to maybe have a look at our culture. And so we started to get some engagements with companies that were outside that revenue range where everything's free. And they're like, yeah, we'll pay you to do this. And again, it was incidental, but it ended up being some very big players and some pretty good engagements. And we're like, we're not marketing for this at all. We're not advertising this at all. This could be its own business unit, and it requires a focus because true to the overall mission, if we can help those innovators and entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs and those larger organizations be more competitive, that's good for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we just decided to put a name to it, and we went through a whole typical process, and I think there's probably some confirmation bias in there. Some of us probably steered it a little bit towards something that had a similar name.
Yeah.
But Innovation Junkie seemed to stick, and it didn't piss off the corporate accounts too much where they thought it was, how to use opioids or anything like that. So we stuck with that name and we launched it this year.
Yeah.
And now we're actively building it. Myself and Jeff Standrich, who is our thought leader, who's done so much in innovation and sales processes, are trying to build that up.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal in this, just in the fact of like from a recruiting standpoint, kind of what we talked about before. It's like you're building up your employees and you're investing in their ideas and the different products that they're trying to offer under a corporate or enterprise, company, and you're only doing it to invest in the community, and it makes you look better for recruiting better talent to your organization. I mean, that's huge. So you mentioned, so are you guys not doing any kind of real promotion or advertising around it? It's just kind of out there? Or?
We're actually working a little bit with Dave Creek Media and Glenn Crockett to promote it. They help build the site and whatnot, and they're doing kind of a drip campaign and whatnot. And Glenn, as it turns out, is also a guy who's been integral to the 10X Accelerator program in Conway, and he was essentially business partner with Standrich when they were both at Axiom. So we are trying to push it out and promote it a little bit.
Yeah.
And some of it is still very referral and personal network related, but we know there's only so much we can do with our own network, so we're going to have to do traditional business development and marketing to build a base of business around Innovation Junkie. And maybe even some video work. You never know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we know a team that can handle it for you if you want it. Well, cool. Well, hey, we want to kind of wrap up here with really kind of some advice that you guys would give to maybe somebody who's in that space, business owners, marketing directors who are really trying to maybe promote some local events or community building aspect. Start with Caleb here. What's kind of some advice that you would actually give them to help them that are kicking this off?
I'd say lean into what makes you unique, what sets you apart from everything else. I don't know what that is, but everybody's got something unique that makes them their cool factor, their it factor. Lean into it.
That's
sitting
great.
around that. Come see us. Come schedule,
absolutely.
And schedule a virtual appointment with me.
Be working from home, schedule a virtual appointment. We always tell people, because we do so many podcasts and we consult for podcasting, and people are like, well, I have this podcast, but there's so many other ones out there. We're like, yeah, but you have your voice. Yeah, and there are tons of marketing podcasts I listen to, but I only like specific ones because of the host, like that person. So I think that's great advice. What about for you, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, for me, I really like, there's a book written by Jay Baer called Utility.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
And he's awesome. And he starts out, and I mean, I think it's a philosophy for life, but he starts out with the idea that if you really want to genuinely build people to be followers and to be loyal customers, start out by being helpful.
Yes.
So figure out how to, and it's that whole pay it forward idea, figure out how to help people without any expectation that they might ultimately be customers. Establish that thought leadership. Don't do it in a superficial way, because people can smell that and see right through it. But if you do it in a genuine way, you begin to be viewed as somebody they can trust.
Yeah.
And so I think philosophically, I think that's really important.
Yep.
It's a differentiator too, because not everybody does that.
Nobody's doing that, especially in the marketing space. It's not necessarily marketing, it's more sales.
Yep.
It's like, what can we push out a coupon or something out? And that's not a true utility. So I actually got to talk with Jay Bear a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw him in San Diego. And
he's an awesome guy.
I
met him one time.
Guy. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a great book too. We'll put that in the show notes because that's a phenomenal book.
Good one.
That's great advice, guys. We'll have to come back because there's a lot more that we want to talk with you guys about, especially around the funding space. We didn't even get into any of that. But if you're a business that's wanting to get into some type of investment or funding, where can they contact you guys? Where's some good resources? And
definitely contact us at startupjunkie.org.
Okay.
They can see us at innovationjunkie.com if they're a little bit farther along. But those are, and then arconductor.org in Central Arkansas. Those are the 3 brands. And you will get quick response, quick engagement. We're still taking all the appointments we would normally take. They're just virtual or online. So yeah, we love it. Send them our way.
Awesome. Well, hey, you guys, you heard it. We'll put everything in the show notes as well to make sure that you guys have those links. Right, Lauren?
Yep.
So sorry, poor Lauren. She's just hanging out over here.
Hey, I'm good.
This has been so great. So thank you guys again for
thanks
jumping
for
on
having
with
us
us.
on.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
These are rapid fire off the cuff.
Okay.
All right, let's rock and roll.
All right. What is your favorite meal to cook and why?
Ooh, that's tough. My favorite meal to cook is like a caprese chicken. With like the tomatoes and the balsamic vinaigrette. I just like deglazing the sautéed garlic with the vinaigrette
Nice.
sauce. It's the smells of the vinaigrette and the garlic and the chicken and the cheese, and that's
Goodness, Caleb. That's
if I could honestly, if I
hard-hitting,
could go back and start school all over again, I'd probably want to go be a chef.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to go put in all the work that chefs have to
no.
put in to be a decent chef.
That's a grind.
I just
man.
want to take take the coursework to be the best at home chef.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's I love watching Chopped. That's like my wife and I we love that. It's so good. But yeah, I'm way down. I'm like nachos. Like I mean, it's like the easiest thing to fix. Just cheese, a little ground beef or something on top, and some tomatoes and salt. I mean, it's done. That's like my favorite because I always enjoy it and it's super easy.
Nice.
So is yours going to be the teriyaki chicken? That was like your.
Yeah, I thought about it, but actually my favorite is to make honey garlic fried chicken. So it's just like home style fried chicken, and I make it with mashed potatoes. But then it's like this soy honey glaze, and then you pour that over the fried chicken and the mashed potatoes, and it's phenomenal.
That sounds really good.
Wow,
it's really good. It's one of my husband and I's favorite meals to eat.
Nice.
So yeah, that's mine for sure.
That's awesome.
All right. You ready for the second one?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Would you rather be the funniest or smartest person in the room?
Well, probably smartest. Because if you're the smartest, you might not make everybody laugh the whole time, but you can come up with that one smart quip when it's necessary.
So this is why I mean, now if I say the funniest, I'm gonna look like the dumb funny guy, like which that
jokes.
Is actually really. That's me over here.
I had somebody mention the other day, I forgot who said this, but was talking about what was that 1 million cups this past week. We talked about the strength of an introvert versus extrovert, and the introvert, people think they're not going to spout off stuff and chime in, but they're quietly waiting for that one opportunity to provide that one perfect comment or that one perfect joke or the one well-timed moment.
The zinger right
exactly.
there. Yeah. No, that's smart. Yeah. I guess I'm just gonna. I mean, I have to go with smart guy.
Yeah, you can't be the funniest.
After Caleb's explanation, But it is. But see, there's also the opposite where it's like you don't. You surround yourself. You don't want to be the smartest person. Like you want to surround yourself with smarter people,
right?
In the business sense. But if we're talking about smart and funny, I guess
But the smarter you are, the dumber you feel, because the smarter you are, the more you realize you don't know. Like, you have the capacity to,
We just keep going down this trail, man. You didn't think that this question would elicit so much of a response.
Well, if I asked my husband, then he'd be like, well, do you want the funniest person or the wittiest?
Oh, good grief, man.
I know.
And the wittiest is probably the smartest.
There you go.
That would be his argument.
Quick wit. Yeah. What about you, Lauren?
I think I would say, as the introverted person, the probably smartest. Like, definitely, I'm not one that wants to be in the limelight and cracking jokes and everything.
I'm with you on that.
So I definitely don't want to be that person. They're like, wow, she's dumb. Like, so
makes sense.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for that zinger too. Just that.
I mean, I
witty
try.
comment.
I try, but I don't always. It doesn't land.
That's hilarious. All right. Hey, this was good.
It's fantastic.
Thanks, Caleb.
Absolutely. Thank you all.